newer thing for high school, I think, that's been used as kind of a conduit of sorts between basically the idea is that it's a portal that we've set up to help teachers access resources and support student learning. It pulls in class rosters from Aries, loads it into Clever, and then pushes it out into certain apps. So some apps automatically have the class roster and automatically allow for single sign-on using your students' Google accounts. So it should match their if they're logged into Google, they're logged into Clever already. So some of the apps that use single sign-on along with class rostering, we're talking Dreambox, IXL, Remind, ST Math, Twig Science, Typing Club, TCI. On the 24th, Seesaw is going to launch, and then Newsela is going to launch on the 26th. Additionally, we have a couple that have single sign-on, but have the allow the kids to just enter their password once and then save it, and then it becomes single sign-on. So that's Class Dojo, Mystery Science, ProQuest. Some of those you might be saying, hey, what the heck is that? I don't use that. It depends on your grade level and school site. I just figure I'd put them all out there. The rest can kind of be found here. So if you scroll down, you're going to see all these that the portal already contains, that the district has set up. Hi, I'm the district. Basic setup instructions, some distance learning resources that Jen and Rich have put together, which is fabulous. I would highly recommend using those. Links to things like the Clever Academy and the Help Center it really has great resources, many of which I'm kind of basing this training on, in order to just kind of learn what Clever does and things you can do with it. Links to Google Classroom, Gmail, Google Docs. Under instant login applications, those are the ones that are going to have single sign-on and rostering for you as well. So you can just essentially click that and you're in. And then additional apps that over the years has been brought to my attention to add, things like Aries, Destiny, Raz Kids, things that people use and we want to have all in one space. That's kind of a big overview kind of thing. I guess I can drop, most of you probably have access to the Clever URL. I can always drop that into the chat if that would be useful, or we can follow up later. But essentially, I have that open somewhere. It's clever.com/in/Albany USD, all lowercase. And again, it should just be your Gmail login in order to get access. Much of what we're doing today is kind of just showing the portal, getting you guys a little used to finding resources, cut down on like the wait time, especially at the beginning of the year. Tech and everyone else, including you all are overwhelmed. So it's kind of as much as possible, we're trying to make it at your fingertips. Every teacher begins with 2 class pages, one that is shared with all of your students and one that is visible just for you so that you can kind of play around, test resources, see what you like and what you want to add without having it visible to any of your students. We also have the district page that's been shared by me, that has all of the resources that I've mentioned. And the students their view of Clever is very much like this. They sign in and they see all the links to the the apps that they have access to. But we can start here. Under your classroom page, you have a couple of different things you can do. You can hit this little gearbox in order to edit your sharing sessions, whether or not you want everyone to be able to see it or have a different one for each of your classes, should you be a secondary teacher, or again, only you. You can delete the page if you only just want, if you want one, or personalize it with a photo or different colors. I like that one. That one speaks to me. Save it. I mean, that's just great. When you go in, as much as possible, you can do almost anything from here. So you can change the name. Let's say, I don't know. Bruce Bochy's page, and it's saved. You can create a teacher announcement that you can allow replies or not. Let's just say, hi. Everyone's going to see it. You can, from here, edit the sharing sessions again. You can download student badges, which is another way of helping kids log in if they aren't using their Google account. You can launch the app for all students at once, as long as they're all logged in. I'm not sure might be able to show you that, but basically if they're all logged into Clever, then you can hit this to launch the app and just push them all into it. I don't believe that works on iOS devices, so keep that in mind. You can also see whether or not they're logged in, looking at the X. If someone's having trouble, you can kind of troubleshoot directly from here by clicking on their name. You can look at their Clever badge in order to use that instead. You can create a backup login code that they can use to log in. You can view their student information. And actually for this year, we've added parent guardian information into Clever so that they themselves can also troubleshoot login information for their kids. Hopefully that saves some time for you, that a lot of parents can figure this out themselves. Let's say you want to add an app. You can add, and then you can add just like a PDF. You can add your own link. Let's say you have another website you want to use, or you can add an app. Let's start with that. When we're adding an app, let's say you want all of the apps in one place, including one of the ones that is added by the district. Let's say Typing Club. Okay, so you just search, and if it says district, then that's when that add. There's been some, I know in some cases it shows up right away. Just make sure you use the search option, because what you want to see is this, add Typing Club. That means that it's already been approved by the district, and you can just hit add, and it shows up there. Now on your page, when your kids go there, they're going to see Typing Club and be able to log in directly. Let's say you want to, favorite your certain apps that you use most often. That's, you hover over it and hit this little heart. Let's say you want to add a new category. So that's a newly added one. Let's say you want to add one specifically for, math. That's been added, but I want that lower. So this is just a good way that we can kind of customize this page in order to have a really good resource, either just for you or for your class or all your classes. Let's see. Let's say you want to make sure that kids are actually using this, like who's potentially having trouble accessing this at home. who's just not using it and you want to follow up with. A lot of that can be found under this analytics tab. So you can see when they were last active, what resources they've used. If you do see an issue, you can hit contact information and find it right there without having to duck back into Aries. Looks like we have a bunch of ne'er-do-wells here. I won't judge because it's summer. If you want to see just those who are active within the last 2 days, 3 to 7, you can kind of go from there. If you want to look at just one class at the secondary level, you can change here, or you can see a weekly overview for your students, either in all classes or one class at a time. That way you can see more of a kind of a graphical view, nice visualization in order to see like, okay, people are using it most often on certain days or having trouble on certain days. Maybe they're having trouble on the weekend. You can kind of figure it out from there. Really cool tool, really helpful. Actually, I'm not sure what this is. That's cool. Let's say you want to go and launch an app. You can do that from your classes tab. Once every kid is logged in, then you can hit launch app. You can choose which app you want to push them into. Let's say they're all going into Typing Club, or they all need to be pushed into, I'm not sure it'll work with SRI because that's not a connected app, but by all means try. Maybe someone who's actually used this will know, but you just hit launch Aries and it'll push them in. And the same can be done by logging them out once you want. Let's say you want to limit the screen time and you're done on the computer for now and you want to do something else. I mean, would that we could do that during distance learning, but that's a tool that's available. Another great option is the library. That's where you can explore different apps. It'll tell you which ones are popular within our own district. Let's say other people in the district are using, well, I guess, Newsela, which we're already adding, Typing Club, which we've already added. Well, makes you think about why they might be up there. You can browse by subject or just look at new ones and really find what kind of works for you in your classroom. Let's say you have a question and want to poke around yourself. Well, the Help Center is a good way to do that. As you can see, I've been doing it myself. And it kind of just takes you right here to the Help Center for teachers. Gives you an idea of, just a basic overview, how to log in or how to get to help troubleshooting for family. More information about the Clever portal itself, just to go deeper and deeper. Another cool feature is the Clever Academy, which will kind of give you further guided trainings on things that you can do with Clever and cool features about it with it. That's a good resource. So let's see. Sorry, the thing is blocking it. On to
Dan, a few people are saying that your audio is fading in and out a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Is that better?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Yeah, better.
Great. I'll just, I'll hold it by my face. But in any event, the Clever Academy is a really good resource for further trainings. Most of them are going to be free. A helpful guide is this remote learning for teachers. There's actually this documentation if you learn better by reading, which I kind of do. I can always drop a couple of these into the chat. I don't want to clutter it up too much, but most of these have been, a lot of these have been added by Jen and Rich to that that help portal down here. So I won't go too into that. And then here, you can set your email preferences. Let's say you don't want to receive professional development or news, or you want it sent to a completely different email address. You can set that there. And let me poke through. What else do I want to show you? I know I've been going fast. I just want to make sure I can get to some questions. I've gone a little over troubleshooting. If, for example, you're trying to help a student and it looks like their email is just wrong, or it's giving a login error that the badge won't even help with. I mean, the badge should help them get on to begin with, but if that doesn't work, by all means, contact helpdesk at ausdk12.org, and I'll troubleshoot it. There can be issues with the email address that's loaded in Aries, sometimes not matching with Google. Sometimes it's the other way around. So a lot of the time that's just going to have to go through me, much as we hope that that's not the case, especially at the beginning of the year. We're going as fast as we can, but that's the fastest way to get to me and not get it lost in my email box, my inbox.
Maybe Dan, I think we have a ton of questions here that have been.
Yeah, let's do that.
So maybe if we do that, it'll, instead of you trying to guess what other people want to see, if I could just start running through these questions for you.
Love it.
Okay, so right off the bat, people are just asking more about the badge thing. So if you could maybe clarify what that is, what it looks like, what it's used for.
Sure. Okay. That figures. Can I go in as, maybe I can just go in as someone for once.
And Dan, I used a badge yesterday for the first time to log my child on. So I don't know if I could try answering that just from like a parent user perspective. I got that email and then it gave me this like barcode situation, and it said that I could save it in case I wanted to use it again, or I could print it. I didn't have a printer. So then we open up the Chromebook, which we just picked up yesterday for the very first time. And it sort of just all happened very naturally. Like, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I thought it was going to ask me to use that add person button, which is what my kids used to do in the school setting last year. But it didn't. It asked for this badge thing. So I literally held up the Chromebook. Yep. I held it up to the camera icon on my lapbook or my MacBook, or vice versa, and I basically like had the Chromebook read the barcode off my MacBook screen, and then boom, my child was in and we had Clever. But then today it's totally not working. I sent you a private message. Maybe you can help us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not on at all today, but it totally worked the first time. And I think that we also want to know, is the badge thing and like the logging on supposed to be a required step every time they open their Chromebook, or are they supposed to be able to log on once and then remain logged on, from home, so that every day parents don't have to help their kids get logged in?
So if it still isn't working, you might want to email the help desk, because that's just going to ensure that it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. I'll try and review the chat and get back to, and follow up with resources as I can, but the help desk is going to be your best bet. Ideally, the badge is more of it's a way to get kids logged in without needing to type in their password every single time. All you have to do theoretically is get it printed and then hold it up to the device's webcam and it'll log them in. You can, as I showed you, you can download it as a teacher. As you heard, you can download it as from the family portal. So there are a lot of ways to get that going. I know there are going to be issues where someone can't print it at home. So maybe printing it for them might be a good idea. I don't know if that's a possibility under the circumstances. That's, more me spitballing right now. Ideally, it's like logging in. So it'll need to be either that or the password will need to be used each time. It's not a one-time thing where you're always logged in afterwards. But it is a potential replacement for a password, should they choose. Just because, some kids are younger and it can be harder to get them logged in, but if they have a badge, then they can use that instead. Does that help answer your question a little bit?
Thank you. And there's a whole bunch more, so we should probably
let's do it.
And then just encourage people to, and I'm sorry, because I'm now going through my list of questions. If you're sending more questions, or some people are privately messaging me, and I'm at the end of my day as well, and I can't take it all in. So please email the help desk. If things aren't answered right now in the Q&A that I've got going on, I would say, you can reach out to me and I can let you know if I know, and if I don't know, I'm going to send you to the help desk in between. Dan and I will try to get you answers, but I got to kind of go with what I've written down at this point. Student login information is hidden from other students, just clarifying that that's true. Dan?
Correct.
Okay. Good. That's a fast one. I'm going to cross that one off. Several people are asking if the fake student accounts that were created can be used to log into Clever to see what it looks like from the teacher side. From the student side.
So these are the fake ones for
I believe Eric created them last year for us so that we could see Google Classroom and things like that from a student point of view. So they're there's one for each school site. And they're the ones we've been encouraging teachers to use to see what things look like. And we just don't know if those accounts work with Clever.
That's a great question. I might have to follow up with that.
Okay.
I know they added in this demo for students as well. I don't think that's available to teachers as of yet. I might have to follow up.
Yeah, I got an email about that this morning and tried it, and I didn't really get how it was working, but.
Yeah, my sense is no, those can't be used that way.
Okay.
But I can follow up. Okay.
And we can maybe post that student demo to our website, possibly. I'm not sure.
All right.
Okay, adding things like Epic or Letter School or apps that a lot of, is there a process for requesting that something be added district-wide, or is it kind of like what's on there for the district is just there at this point, and anything else a teacher might want or a grade level might want would have to be added individually?
Fantastic question. I think we all need to view this as kind of an evolving process, especially given the circumstances. I see no reason why I can't add more if it's used by, let's say, a whole school or a whole grade level. If it's something that requires purchasing or single sign-on, then that probably needs to go through the principal or Marie. But if it's just a link that a lot of people use, send it through the help desk, and I'll try and get it added.
Awesome. Yeah.
And when you do, just let me know who should have access, who should be able to view it.
Great. Some people teach at multiple sites, and so their Clever is saying that they're at one, but do they have to do anything to have that reach all their students at multiple sites? And that kind of coincides with specialists like a science teacher or music teacher. Do they have their own Clever, or are they embedding their links into the classroom teachers Clever?
Ooh, that's a great question. At the elementary level, those specialists wouldn't automatically have Clever accounts.
Okay.
So if we want those to be created, I'd need to set those up special. They wouldn't have a class roster. They'd be more, they'd be special.
Individual. So probably what makes the most sense is that, let's say a science teacher has a web page, they're going to want the teachers they're working with to add that link to the classroom one for their general ed teacher. And then the kids would be able to access their specialist stuff from within that teacher's Clever.
Yeah, I think that's a good process.
Okay. Let's see. Somebody asked about Seesaw integration. Is that a single sign-on, and is that are kids loaded directly into their Seesaw through Clever?
Yes, that will become live on the 24th.
Okay, awesome. Somebody deleted their Just You page on accident, and they're wondering if they can add it back in.
Oh, yeah, I think it should let you add a page without too much issue.
I think when you're in the main dashboard, if you click that green add button, you can add a page. So if you go down now to page and you wanted a whole other page, if you clicked on add right now, I think you could add back a Just You page. You would just be naming it yourself. Yeah. All right. So linking to Zoom, some people are, if they're doing a personal meeting room and using one link always, they'd like to add the Zoom link to their page, and they're wondering if that would be single sign-on or how students would get to Zoom links through Clever.
Great question. Zoom is special. Zoom is a kind of a special deal with Clever. I know we're in process of getting licenses through, and then there's a whole setup that kind of happens in the background. Once that's ironed out, it should be it'll be posted on district website, the district page, and single sign-on is my understanding, but it's not quite there yet.
Okay.
You could technically, for now, post add a link to the page.
Yep. I think that's what some people are doing.
Okay.
And then for adding apps is adding apps redundant for students? So if there are things, I'm not quite sure exactly what the question means, but there are things that are already loaded through the district and you don't need to add those, right? So, I mean, you could move them over to your individual page from the district page, so your students only have to look at your teacher page, not both pages.
Right. Right. So they're going to see everything that's shared by the district already. And it should end up looking something like this. If you add it to your page, then that's great. It's all in one place, and they can just click on your page up here. But it will appear here.
Yeah, the only thing we did find is that if you're moving it over, it doesn't keep the same logo if you move it into your page. So you could take a little screenshot of the logo and then change the logo, or you might just label it how you want to label it. But that's a little tricky thing.
Right. If it's been added, like Typing Club, which I demoed, that'll keep the logo. But things like Aries, I actually went through the trouble to get the logo in place because, I just wanted to. So you could always right click and save the image and then add it again.
Yeah.
It should give you the option to upload your own image.
Your own image, yeah, for sure. Okay, there's a few more. Someone asked, so you can't log into an app until everyone is on Clever. And I think that, I think for this one, it's more of like, if you're using Clever as your point of entry for students, and that's where you've given them access to that app, then you'd need them to go through Clever to get that app. If you have shared Seesaw and how to get on Seesaw with your students from your website, then they could go there that way, right? So it would really be a matter of where you're posting the links for your student. That's kind of my understanding.
Right. So you could technically, for example, go to Typing Club and have them log in from there without going through Clever. However, it won't be a process of single sign-on. I mean, they will, if they go to Clever, they're all going through the same process. So learning how to access each app is going to be the exact same process. So there is something to be gained from that kind of standardization. That being said, if you've already shared how to log in and they have that process, then, you know, whatever works for your classroom.
Yeah.
For single sign-on though, I'd recommend using the Clever.
Yep. And especially again, like what I was kind of pushing for it because families with multiple kids, you know,
Yep.
it's one way for parents to know to help their kids find what they need rather than having to figure out, okay, this teacher uses this and another teacher uses that.
Yeah. Great point.
So someone asked, can you add parent resources? So you could totally create a parent page, right? So like you have a Just For You page, your student page, you could definitely create a parent page of resources as well. And then a few people have said they've keep trying to add things like Google Classroom or Kids A to Z, and it wasn't working. I think they were trying to add it as an app, and maybe you just need to copy the link and then move the link over. So that might be what's happening. But I don't know if you have anything else to say about that. So Dan's trying to add Google.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Those might just be links.
Yeah, so you have to grab the link from the district page and then add it into your, could you just show kind of how to do that, Dan?
Yeah. So what was one? You said Kids A to Z?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just I right clicked, I'm copying the link address. Going back to the page, I'm hitting add link, and then I'm pasting it here.
And I did cover this in that short video I sent you. The sound's cutting out again, but I did cover this kind of step by step in that video I recorded. So, yeah.
And that's where you would be able to change the, there we go.
Yeah, so they'd single sign on to Kids A to Z. And again, the logo's not the same, but you could replace the logo image by copying the logo. And I think can you replace that logo? Or you could have done it when, yeah, you can edit that logo and you can upload your own logo. So you can grab the logo from the other one and add it in there. And I can do a little video on how to do that too at some point. All right, we talked about kids pages and the icons. Someone's asking about the whole logging in and logging out. They were curious if they could use that to do a timed test on like a Google form. Could you log kids and log out from your Clever?
I believe so. It might take some trial and error, but that's my understanding.
Okay. Yeah, I've never done that.
Yeah, me neither. That's cool.
And then the last question I have written down, I might have missed some, you guys. I'm sorry. It's been a really, really, really long day. But a couple other, just the last question I had written down was, are the apps in the library free? Or are there paid apps, you know, that we need to be aware of that are in that library as well?
I'm going to assume that some are going to be paid.
Okay. Yeah, and I would guess that a lot of them would have a paid version and a, you know, like a free version,
yeah,
a paid version for more features or something like that.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's my assumption.
Yeah. Awesome, you guys. I know that there's still probably some unanswered questions. Dan, if people still have unanswered questions, what do you want to say?
It's a good question. Hadn't thought that far ahead. You could try emailing the help desk. That's kind of been my go-to lately. I can create a copy of the chat and try to answer some.
Okay.
When I have a chance. I can't promise it's right away, but I can do my best.
Yeah. And someone asked the best way to reach you, and the best way to reach Dan is the help desk, because that, they separate out the different elements of tech questions and who addresses which ones. So funnel it through the help desk. And that is just the email IT help desk that you would, email if you needed a new cable or whatever it is, but just through email, the IT help desk. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sorry,
Mhm.
Dan, to confirm, like, is that what you want parents to be sending emails to that same help desk email as well?
Ideally not. So we have it set up so that parents now have access to Clever. I am troubleshooting some of those as they come in, but for the most part, it has a lot of resources that walk them through the process of helping their kid get on to begin with, and then they will generally they end up contacting the school or the teacher, and then if it's something that's just not obvious, or that you can't resolve like really quickly just by being like, hey, you're using the wrong email, then by all means send in a help desk ticket on their behalf. If I need to reach out to them directly, I absolutely will.
Hey, Dan, do you mind unsharing? Because that thing's like scrolling by and it's like triggering
Yeah.
things in me at the end of the day today.
No problem. I'm right there with you.
And then somebody asked if you wouldn't mind keeping the meeting over for just open. I know this is your meeting, so just to look through the chat for a couple minutes, because maybe some of their questions got answered there. So if you wouldn't mind leaving the meeting open for a couple extra minutes.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. All right, you guys. I've hit my max. I think you can probably tell. So I am going to stop recording as I talk about hitting my max.